medical wing of Brahma Kumaris presents a 2-day mind-body medicine e-conference for all healthcare professionals.
Namaste, good morning and Om Shanti, and a very warm welcome to all of you on the second day of this special e-conference on mind-body medicine. In this session, we have an amazing lineup of speakers. Friends, we often wonder, there are some people around us who are always light. When I say light, it means that they are not burdened by what is happening around them. They always make sure that they're always cheerful, happy, smiling. There is a certain lightness that they carry with them. Do you also wonder how do they do that? Sometimes you might also see, how could I become like that? Our first session this morning is about being light no matter what. And to talk about this, we have Brahma Kumaris Sister Asha. Sister Asha is the senior Raj Yoga teacher and also the director of Brahma Kumaris Om Shanti Retreat Center in Gurgaon. She holds a master's degree in sociology from Bangalore University, where she got 2 gold medals for standing first in her class. She's also worked as a lecturer and then resigned her job to dedicate herself to the organization in 1973. She participated in the United Nations Decade for Women conference held in Nairobi in 1985. She has traveled across 21 European countries and conducted series of lectures across UK, United States and South America. She is also the chairperson of the administrative wing of Raj Yoga Education Research Foundation. It is indeed a pleasure having her with us. Over to Sister Asha.
Om Shanti. I am indeed glad to be part of this conference being held for the medical persons. No doubt, daily new things are happening and we enjoy them. Newness always brings happiness. But when newness is mixed with certain unhappy instances, we do not like that newness. So, if I say we are living in a very challenging world, and challenges are on an increase day by day, moment by moment, for everyone. It's a world of uncertainties, insecurities, and so on. No one is safe. No one is safe. Anything can happen to anyone, anytime, anywhere, at any moment. And sometimes we are confronted with such challenges for which we are just taken unawares and we are not prepared to face them. Like the challenge that we are facing even now, COVID-19. Who had imagined? Who was prepared? Just suddenly, it engulfed the whole world. We had lockdown and lot of disruption in the economic system, in our family system, workplace, and so on. There were too many demands which this challenge was asking us. workplace working from home, no more money, economy becomes standstill, and cases of COVID on rise, which demanded a lot of finances, and so on. So, there are situations where we cannot do anything. It is rightly said, you cannot change the circumstances. You cannot change the situations. All that you can do is adjust your mindset and change your own thinking. Now, when the challenges are there, we need inner strength to face it. We need to empower ourselves. In the first place, we need to understand it, because challenge which is coming with every newness is not known to us. Understanding it is also essential. A few things I would like to share. The stress that is produced due to all these, how to dilute it, because stress occurs whenever there is a change. Anything that comes before us, it demands that we bring a change in our mindsets. So what are those things that we need to change? Generally, we have been in the habit of imagining or wanting others to change. We wish the other people change for us. Once I was traveling in Europe, and one of the topics that was given to me for my talk was, change who? Me? Do you want me to change? It is very easy to say that others should change. But how about ourselves? Are we prepared to change? Sometimes I ask this question to my companions, to my juniors. You want people to do the thing the way you want. Are you prepared to do the same thing? What others demand, are you prepared to do? When you are not prepared to do, how can I expect others to do the same thing? There needs to be some thinking, some introspection, some self-analysis, some understanding. And it is through this that we'll be able to do something to change ourselves. The scenarios will not change. Scenarios keep changing. But if I expect the intensity to come down, I'm not prepared, that is not possible. I have to empower myself to face that challenge well. So, whenever we are not prepared, it produces stress for us. And this stress, if it is sustained over a period of time, it brings depression. And from depression, we can land into any lunatic position. Hence, let us look at it from the angle that I have to face it and I have to win over it. What to do? Number one, let us understand, run through the ABCD of change. A means awareness of what you need to change. There should be some change. People should change. This is very, let's say, such a statement where I do not know exactly what to change. Just saying this will not bring change. No. What exactly I need to change? So, first thing, awareness about what I need to change. I should be able to identify it. And as I have already said, the pointing finger should not be outside. The pointing finger should be towards the self. I have to change and what to change. Number two, B. B means believe in your ability to change. How can I change? Well, I have no direction, I have no knowledge, I have no instruction. No. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself means I can do it and I will do it. So believe in your ability to change. If I do not change, who else will change? If I am not able to, who else will be able to do? I am the master. I am capable enough to bring that change. Third thing, C. C is a commitment to the idea of change. Generally, people do not like to change because they get into their comfort zones. And when they are in their comfort zones, they are happy with it. But if you think about it little deeply, such people will not be able to progress further. They've gone into their cocoon. And when they're in their cocoon, they don't want to come out. How can they be progressive? Hence, it is very essential that I accept change and be committed to the idea of change. My experiences, and this is what we learn in this organization of Brahma Kumaris, change is always progressive. It brings several lessons for us. Several learnings are there. The person who changes and keeps changing himself, let's say keeps changing the places. At times we fret and frown, why should I be asked to change again and again? But if you look at the result of it, the consequence, you will find you become more wiser, more experienced, because you have been able to handle different situations. So change is always for good. Our founder used to say, if you are not able to adjust to the new circumstances, new changes, you will be like a dwarf. And a dwarf who is not able to go to the heights. Similarly, your mind will become too small. And too small mind is not able to think big. Hence, commitment to change. And D. D means discipline and your willingness to stick to your plans of change. At times we start with very good intentions, and then there comes a time when people start saying, oh, why should you change? No one else is changing. Why should you? And you also start thinking about the self. Well, no one is doing anything. Why should I do? This is one of the weak points that confronts us and does not allow us to sustain change. Hence, discipline, meaning keep your willingness to change always alive, and you will be able to make those changes. Another thing is to empower the self. I need to appreciate myself, meaning appreciate all those gifts not in the form of material things, but your achievements, your experiences. And if you look back, I would say, out of my experience, all the good things that you have done in your life, if you just go back, revisit those challenges that you have already confronted, and just see what treasures those challenges have brought for you, and we cherish them. Nothing can match experience. We get experienced. We broaden our outlook. We start thinking from new angles, and so on. So appreciate your gifts in the form of achievements. And then someone said, vote for yourself. Vote for yourself, meaning what? I want happiness for the self. So, vote for yourself as if you are the leader of the party of everlasting happiness. I am to remain happy. And if I am to remain happy, everlasting happiness, then I have to believe in the self. Vote for yourself. That I am belonging to the party of everlasting happiness. Yes, I will do it. If I don't do, who else will do it? Happiness is my nature. Happiness is my inner desire. Happiness is something which is rare in the world. So, for my own happiness, I need to vote for the self, meaning I have to stand, I have to work, I have to come forward and bring that change. Further, what experience says is, when you are confronted with any challenges, daily when you wake up, tell yourself, this is an opportunity. This day is an opportunity for me. To do what? To give joy to others. To receive blessings from others. Give yourself a thought. What should I do today to receive blessings from the people? To receive joy by my actions? What should I do? At least if not many, I can put it on my agenda. I will make at least one person happy. I will bring joy to at least one person. Dear brothers and sisters, nothing is more valuable than blessings. We get back home, we calculate how much I have earned today. But do I ever calculate how many blessings have I received today? Do I do that? Rarely. In this organization, we are taught to keep giving blessings and good wishes to everyone. The power of good wishes is unmatched. It is the good wishes that bring solace to the patient, that give strength to the surgeon, that give clarity of mind and judgment to the doctor. Good wishes. The patients and the relatives who come, what do we tell them? Don't think of negative. Have good wishes. Give good wishes. It is through these good wishes that a person is able to get rid of the disease. Yes, the power of good wishes is much more than we are able to assess. Much more. So, have good wishes for the self, have good wishes for the others, and right in the morning, give yourself a thought, what joy can I bring to others? This is my real earning towards the end of the day. Very frequently, we do commit mistakes. To commit a mistake is not a mistake. Our first chief, Mateshwari Jagdamba Saraswati, she used to say, to commit a mistake is not a mistake, but to become conscious of that mistake is a mistake. If there is any mistake, learn from it. And when we learn, we will not be repeating it again. Because there are several lessons that we have learned from it. We made a mistake, learned several lessons, and let that past be past. Gone be gone. We have to learn and forget them. Otherwise, they keep remaining in our consciousness and they suppress our consciousness. They suppress our hopes, our expectations, our zeal, our enthusiasm, our happiness. So, we have to forget the past. Good things, of course, we have to learn, but all that was ugly needs to be forgotten. Then, let us be conscious of the work, my world of work. If I am to transform myself, it is not that I get out of my work and then I start working on transformation. No. I have to be on the job, in the work situation, be aware of them, be aware of the surroundings. If I am surrounded by negative people, if I am surrounded by such people who are jealous, who have hatred, I need to protect myself. Just as we protect ourselves from harsh sun rays, similarly, we need to protect ourselves from such ugly surroundings. In our childhood, we were taught, as the company, so the bells. Same thing holds good even today. Those people who discourage us from change, those people who are always negative talking about others, those people who have no courage, we need to protect ourselves from that circle. And here comes the power of positive thinking. Even if something negative happens, I will not look at the negative side of it, but what positivity I have learned. So the shield of positivity should be around us. Always convert negative surrounding into a positive one, and it is possible. You will say, sister, we live in such circumstances where people are just talking about negative things. How can I remain positive? In the organization, we are given one small little example. You must have seen the incense stick. South India, yes. Incense stick. If you burn it, light it up, in the situation and surroundings where you are getting foul smell, filthy atmosphere, the incense stick brings fragrance, changes the atmosphere. One single incense stick can change the atmosphere, give scent, fragrance. Can't we do it? We are conscient incense sticks. We apply perfumes so that no foul smell comes from our body. Do we ever care to apply perfume to our inner self? Inner self, which we call soul, is full of those beautiful qualities that we are searching outside. Purity, truthfulness, happiness, love, sincerity. All these things are within the self. But unfortunately, we look for them outside. In the outside world, where are they? Where are they? Nowhere. They are within us. So if I have this shield around me, then all those things which are not liked by me, negative ones, I'll be able to protect myself from them. I have to remain in my own beautiful qualities. A small little example. There was a saint who was bathing in a river, and a scorpion was biting him again and again. And whenever the scorpion was biting, the saint would just take it and throw it again in the water. Again that scorpion will come and bite. And again the saint will throw it back. There was one person who was watching all this. He said to the saint, "Saint, I am watching you. This scorpion is biting you and you are just throwing it back. Why don't you kill it once and for all?" He said, "Very nice thing. He does not leave his dharma of biting. Why should I leave my dharma of pardoning?" What happens? When we are confronted with negativity from the outside world, immediately we start reacting. And this reactionary behavior, it does not bring happiness and strength to us. It shakes us because it goes against our conscience. We can forget the person, we can pardon the person. This is the way. So don't leave your original qualities and let them give fragrance always. Fortify yourself with inner strength, and you are more powerful than what is happening outside. Every step of strength grows us. Every small victory makes us strong. Let us not try for too big things, but small, little achievements are also good, encouraging. Value them. It is said in our country, every single drop makes an ocean. Similarly, every single effort will give you strength. And this effort that gives you strength, it makes you grow. It makes you more experienced. Similarly, fortify yourself with blessings. For example, the love that you receive from others, it gives you strength. Love and respect. Let me share one thing. These two things are not demanded. They are always commanded. I cannot expect love without giving it to others. I cannot expect myself to be respected unless I give it to others. So, to get respect, I need to give respect. To get love, I need to give love. So, dear brothers and sisters, always people have complaints. So and so does not respect me. So, do I respect? In this organization we learn, okay, the person with whom you are living, maybe in your office, at your home, the person is not up to your expectations, is always disrespecting you, has 1001 bad qualities. But we are taught no one is there without any good qualities. 9 qualities may be bad, At least one quality is good. Respect the person for that one little quality. And our experience is, when you continue to give, maybe in the first instance you will get rebuke, you will get reactions and so on. But if you continue to do it, then comes a time when person starts respecting you, starts loving you, because your true pure vibrations reach the person. And you know very well, it is a world where we are now living through vibrations, with vibrations. If the vibrations are good, we feel them. The vibrations are not good, we feel them, and we make our behavior accordingly. So, this is something which I need to give attention to. One more thing, just do something, because when I am confronted with any challenge, then my thinking becomes very constricted. But out-of-box thinking. So, we are taught again in this organization that you must have holistic approach towards life, be all-rounders. Try to do something which is unrelated to your work, unrelated to your daily activity, like speaking to children. If you speak to children, I do, I enjoy, they come out with such nice questions, such nice, innocent, pure feelings that you refresh yourself. I also remember Dr. Abdul Kalam ji, then us. Then someone has said, and this is again taught to us in the organization, never stop learning. There is no full stop to learning. In Hindi it is said, sikh, sikh, sikh. Keep learning, learning, learning. We can learn from anything. We can learn from everything. And try to learn new skill. Yes, it is possible. There is no age to learning. You must have seen many senior citizens learning computers because this is the demand of the time. Otherwise, you are called uneducated. That's the concept of education nowadays. Someone has said, make use of what is called 3 A's. The challenge is very strong and you're not that powerful, just avoid it. Empower yourself and come back. Number 2, alter. If there is something which you can alter, must do it. Number 3, accept the challenge. Then enjoy humor. Enjoy humor in your life. Whatever we do, bear in your mind, you are not the owner. You are only a trustee of everything. Whether it is your clinic, hospital, job, occupation, status, position, anything, you are not the owner of it. You're only a user. It was never with us. It will never remain with us. So make use of it in the best possible manner. But don't try to own it. If you own, and when it is taken away, you feel sad. When you are just a trustee, you will try to do the best justice to it. Be a trustee, observer. If you are observer, you'll be able to perform better because you will not absorb anything filthy from there. And be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. The good things that you do, appreciate yourself. In the organization, we are taught to write a letter of appreciation to the self. What good things I have done, what good things I am capable of, and what good things I can still do. So write a letter of appreciation to yourself. I was telling you about meditation. Meditation is something which makes us happy, strong, and brings clarity of mind, thinking. Doctors have to take decisions, but the decision should be accurate and for the purpose, and how it empowers us to face the challenges that come before us. Thank you very much for giving me patient hearing. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much, Sister Asha. It was lovely to have you here with us. And indeed, most of our minds now feel light already just by listening to you. Thank you so much for that wonderful session. Our next speaker for this morning session is Dr. Mohit Gupta. Dr. Mohit Gupta is a professor of cardiology in GB Pant Hospital, New Delhi. He passed his post-graduation and super specialization from Maulana Azad Medical College, Lok Nayak Hospital and GB Pant Hospital, New Delhi. He has a distinct achievement of getting more than 18 gold medals and 5 silver medals in his medical career. In the year 2006, he was awarded Young Scientist of India Award by the Association of Physicians of India. He is a strong advocate of spirituality and is associated with the Brahma Kumaris since his childhood. He has delivered more than 500 lectures all over the world, including United States, United Kingdom, Europe, especially at Oxford and Cambridge universities. We are lucky to have him here with us, and he will talk about unraveling the science of mind, meditation, and belief. Dr. Mohit Gupta, for all of you.
Om Shanti. Living in the 21st century itself is becoming a challenge. Today, there are unique times, and it is not just important for us to know, but it is also important for us to know how the things are happening in our life. Today, we all are living our lives in an emergency mode. Right from the morning till the evening, we have transformed ourselves from human beings to human doings. That continuous pressure of performance has taken away our joy of being, the happiness within our own selves. If I am to ask you only one question, that why do we all work in our life? Do we work in our life for happiness? Do we work in our life for money? Or do we work in our life both for happiness and money? What would be your reflection on that? What would be your answer on that? Pause and take a minute. Definitely, most of you would say we work in our life both for happiness and money. But my question to you is, should we work in our life for happiness or should we work in our life with happiness? Definitely, we should work in our life with happiness. That is what defines our life. If today we are chasing our life for happiness, definitely happiness is always going to elude us. But if we start creating joy, creating happiness in our life at every moment, that is what the essence of life is. And that is why today I am going to narrate 5 simple principles in front of you to define, to redefine, to reprogram, to redesign your life forever. If these simple changes you choose to incorporate in your life will completely transform for good. What defines our life? Everything that is happening in our life is a consequence of what we are thinking inside our mind, the kind of thoughts that we are generating in our mind. Unfortunately, science today says that 95% of our thoughts, 50,000 thoughts that we generate in a single day, 95% of them are negative, are repetitive, and are waste thoughts. So just imagine that if 95% of our thoughts are negative, repetitive, and waste, what would be the output? What would be the quality of our existence on earth? Definitely, the quality would be that our life will be defined with anxiety, fear, panic, and uncertainty, or what we call as living our life in an emergency mode, as most of us are living today. Don't you think it's time to rechange our life? Don't you think it is time to redesign and reprogram our subconscious mind? 95% of our thoughts which are there in our subconscious mind are governing our life, and we have to focus now on reprogramming these thoughts with a lot of love and positivity. If we change our thoughts, our choices change. If we change our choices, our behaviors change. And if we change our behavior, our feelings, our emotions, and our expressions change, and our destiny is redefined. That is what we have to do. So out of 50,000 thoughts, even if we are able to take control, take charge of most of the thoughts, even 20-30% of our thoughts, we will see a whole new realm being unfolded, unraveled in front of us, and that is what we all have to understand. Your destiny, your happiness, your life is not outside, not being controlled by outside. It is totally being governed by your own inner thought process. A positive thought, a positive choice, a positive choice, a positive behavior, a positive behavior, a positive feeling, a positive emotion, a positive expression, and the whole world, the vibrations and the environment change. We should always remember that somebody has very nicely said that thoughts are generated by our mind, and mind is a beautiful servant. As long as you are making your mind a best friend, as long as you are governing your mind, you are telling your mind repetitively to generate positive and powerful thoughts, your mind will always be behaving according to the way you want. But remember, 50 trillion cells start working in harmony, dancing in peace, love, joy and happiness, and start creating miracles in our life. It's all about balance. It's all about the kind of energy that you are emitting in your thoughts. So just let us check that our thoughts are having a very powerful effect on our genes and on our body. So we are controlling the expression of our genes. We are letting our body behave according to the way we are thinking. Simultaneously, our thoughts are also having a very powerful effect on our family, on our friends, and the kind of relations that we share with them, the quality of relations that we share with them. And also lastly, our thoughts have a very powerful effect on the environment, the food that we are eating, the water that we are drinking, and the atmosphere that we are creating, the aura that we are creating around us. So the first transformation that I'm going to tell you is how beautifully with the power of thoughts you can control the expression of your own genes. And this is called a beautiful science of epigenetics. That means the genes are there, but the external factors, when you are meditating, when you are creating positive, purposeful and powerful thoughts, you are telling your happy genes, your peaceful genes, the blissful genes to express more beautifully, more powerfully, and you are silencing all the disease causing genes, all the negative genes, and the miracles are created. Today we have ample of evidence which shows that thoughts can actually work as a powerful epigenetic factor, Once a person is meditating, positive thoughts can enhance the signaling of the protein building genes and decrease the expression of the cancer causing genes. One of the beautiful studies that we did in our own setup was the use of and the estimation of the telomere length. The telomere is like a cap in the front of the chromosome that makes it express or not express. So what we did was, in the patients of heart attack who were very young, between 18 to 35 years only, non-diabetic, non-smokers, no family history, no risk factors, but they were having significant amount of psychosocial stress. We estimated their telomere length. And what were the results? The results were revealing that those people who had heart attack, chronologically they were of the age between 18 to 35 years, but their biological age, their telomere length was so less that their biological age was equivalent to a person of 60 to 80 years. What is functioning? What is manifesting? The lack of love, the lack of happiness, the lack of gratitude in life, the lack of joy in life is what governs, what affects the telomerase enzyme and what decreases the telomere length, and then it causes a rampant expression of the disease. So today we have enough evidence to show that our own thoughts are affecting the expression of our genes. Numerous studies have been carried out that show that within weeks of what you are, the amount of meditation that you are practicing, the kind of thoughts that you are creating will have a significant effect on the expression of the genes, whether they are inflammatory genes or whether they are peaceful genes or healthy genes. So remember, your thoughts are affecting your genes. You are no more the slave of the genetic system that you are getting in inheritance. So first thing is, create positive thoughts every day. Create powerful thoughts every day and give positive energy to the 50 trillion cells of your body to behave nicely, to stay happy, to stay calm, and let healthy genes express in your life. Let happy genes express in your life. This is what Dr. Robert Waldinger in his famous 75 years Harvard second generation study showed, that the most important factor that determines the longevity of the person is the level of healthy relations, good relations, happy relations that we have in our family, not only with us, but with everyone with whom we are interacting. So that is most important that we have to do to create healthy and happy relations. The second aspect of our life that we have to transform is that our thoughts can control our body. Don't you think this is a common finding that sometimes when we are diseased, our body is not doing well, we go to a doctor and we talk to a doctor and we say, just by talking to this doctor, half of my illness is gone. What happens? This is because the effect of the politeness, of the joy, of the empathy, of the sympathy that doctor emits, that doctor radiates in his thought process is able to take away the mental agony in my own mind, and I start feeling comfortable, I start feeling happy. And that shows the generation, the genesis of the disease is not in the body, but it is in our mind. So don't you think that creating positive thoughts, continuously telling yourself that I don't accept that I am diseased, I am a healthy being, I am a happy being, will start having a very powerful positive placebo effect. And today, the sham studies have clearly shown. One of the studies done by a famous orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Mosley, he showed that when people who had osteoarthritis, they underwent a sham surgery, a surgery which actually never happened, but the people believed that they have undergone a knee surgery. They started experiencing less pain, almost less pain equivalent to the persons who had actually undergone surgery. What does this show? This shows that once we tell our mind that yes, I am fine, today I am much better, your body starts emitting that kind of a neurotransmitter system, those hormones, those chemicals that make you feel well, and that is called the placebo effect. the positive effect, the powerful effect, the non-acceptance of the disease or the belief system that today I am better and I am fine will make you start feeling healthy. That is the first rule. If we as doctors feel that our job is only to treat a patient, we will end up only performing surgeries or giving drugs or treatment to a patient. But if we feel that our job is not just to treat a patient, but to heal a patient, then we have to move a step ahead. And that step ahead is by our positive vibrations. We have to tell and treat the psyche of the patient that healing has to happen from within. Start creating those positive thoughts that I am much better. That is the most important way today to heal your own body. There are numerous experiences and numerous experiments that have been carried out all over the world that have shown that the magic of belief is so powerful that you can actually heal your own self. In my own life experience, when I was suffering from multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, the surgery has happened. Most significant lesion was taken off, but a small lesion in the cerebellum was not healing. I meditated with a focused, powerful thought that I am healthy. I am not ill. All these drugs are acting very powerfully in my brain. A 1 year powerful focused meditation, my belief system complemented, my medicines, and in 1 year, the lesion in my cerebellum had disappeared. This is the magic that we can create by our positive thoughts. When we are in charge of our own health, when we are in charge of our own happiness and in our own thoughts. The third transformation that I am going to tell you, which is very important, is to transform your own relations. You see, one of the very important things that we have been taught right from our childhood is that we should communicate very beautifully by our words. Whenever we are talking in our family, with our friends, often we are talking to them very nicely. But remember, language is always or invariably designed to hide feelings. If we human beings are taught to communicate by our vibrations, our relations will never go wrong. Even in a jungle, you see, animals communicate by their vibrations and the aura. That is what we have to learn. That if we are creating continuous, positive, powerful thoughts for everyone in our family, for everyone in our friend circle, what would be the quality of our relations? But this can happen only when our thoughts are very charged, when we accept each other. Unfortunately, in our relations, expectations, anger, irritation, hatred, jealousy, this is what is governing our relations. Today, when we master our thoughts, when we understand that we are in charge of what we are creating in our life, what we are designing in our life, then we transform our anger into love. Just ask yourself, is it natural to be angry, or is it more natural to be loving? Naturally, love is a more powerful and a natural emotion. And that is what we all have to understand. That transform our language, our dictionary of what we call as natural, which is anger, is what is actually natural is love. What we call natural as hatred and jealousy is to transform that hatred and jealousy into compassion, into acceptance, into appreciation, into feeling of gratitude and happiness for every soul. Just imagine that if our words, our thoughts, our actions are working in synchrony with each other, they are creating a lot of positive energy, what would be the environment look like? What would be the vibrations look like? They will completely transform, and anybody who comes in that aromatic circle, anybody who comes in that positive environment will automatically start feeling very empowered. You will start feeling healed, and that is the beginning of transforming your own life. So, if we want to lead a happy life, let us start creating a harmony between our thoughts, our words, and our actions. Let us instill every thought with a lot of optimism, lot of love, lot of acceptance, lot of appreciation, lot of adaptability, lot of compassion, lot of gratitude, lot of joy for our own selves and for every soul whom we meet. And our life, you will see, will transform not in months, not in weeks, but you practice this for one day, your whole life will transform within a single day. Your happiness index will increase and you will start experiencing that joy in your relations. The fourth transformation that I would like to suggest is energize your food. Your thoughts have a very powerful impact on what you are eating and what you are drinking. Many times people come to me and say, oh, we are having nutritious food, we are drinking this kind of a water. But my question to you is that it is not just important to eat healthy food, but today we are living in this world of nutritional psychology. It is not just important to eat healthy, but it is equally important to energize that food with positive and powerful thoughts. And that is what is called nutritional mindset or nutritional psychology. Dr. Masaru Emoto has very beautifully shown that pure and powerful and positive vibrations that we create will change the structure of the water and structure of the food. If we create vibrations of peace, love, joy, the structure of water transforms into a beautiful diamond. And you see, that particular structure automatically energizes our whole body ecosystem and also the external ecosystem. But what happens commonly is, today we are living in a busy lifestyle or what we call as an emergency mode. And in this emergency mode, we often find ourselves eating food and drinking water with a mobile phone on our ear, with a television that is running in front, and a lot of atmosphere which is charged with negativity. A lot of noise is there and we don't enjoy that food. That is not the kind of life that we all have bargained for. We must understand that today, out of 1440 minutes that we get in a single day, we have to take out few minutes for our own self. Before you eat and accept any meal and water, pause for a second. Pause and energize your food and energize your water with pure, powerful and beautiful thoughts. That this food is going to give my own body and my mind lot of satisfaction, lot of healing, and you see, the magic will happen. Today's science has clearly proven that the structure of food, the level of energy of food, the purity of food is prolonged once we give and accept food with a lot of loving vibrations. And that is what happens when we go to a religious place. The simple food transforms into a prasad or into a holy food. Why? Because the vibrations are instilled into it, and those vibrations are of purity, are of love, or of devotion towards God. So let us energize our food and water every time we are having a meal, accepting a meal and drinking water. Just pause for a few seconds and magic will be happening in your life. And the fifth transformation that I would like you to do in your own life is very important, is to change your own environment. Studies that have been carried out in larger circle have shown that when a group of meditators sat together in a city of millions of people, this was a study which was carried out in Washington, when the crime was increasing in Washington, what they showed was only half hour of meditation for 6 weeks decreased the crime rate in a city like Washington by almost 28%. And they extrapolated that if we install permanent meditators, what will happen is the amount of crime, the level of crime will be permanently decreased by 48%. Why? Because our thoughts are radiating into the environment. So just imagine, if few hundred of us are continuously generating peaceful and positive thoughts into the environment, those positive and powerful thoughts are going to change or influence the minds of millions and millions of people who are thinking otherwise, who are feeling anxious, who are feeling negative in their life. So our thoughts are creating our destiny. Our thoughts are choosing and creating our level of relations, the harmony in our relations. Our thoughts are also energizing our food. Our thoughts are taking control of our body and our genes. And what is going to control our thoughts? What is going to energize our thoughts? The most beautiful way to make our thoughts pure and powerful is Raj Yoga meditation. Raj Yoga meditation is something that aligns your thought. It creates a beautiful synchrony of positive thought process when your every thought is in complete harmony with Almighty. And how does it happen? It happens when you are giving space to your mind. You take out a moment of silent contemplation when you are just being yourself. You see yourself not as this body. This body is just like a costume, like a car. But I am a pure, peaceful, powerful soul, divine soul, point of light, what we call as a consciousness, what we call as a being, what we call as a light, what we call as a psyche, what we call as a divine light or a soul that resides in front of the hypothalamo-hypophyseal fossa. And that soul is manifesting, is functioning through its three powers. It is thinking, that is mind. The decisive power, that is our intellect or what we call as the buddhi. And the third power is of sanskars or what is called as a habit that is giving us an impression. When our soul is programmed originally to think positive, to energize our every thought with peace, with God's love, with God's knowledge, with God's power, with God's purity, it is then that we start experiencing that state of bliss or what we call as the Anandam Sthiti. My dear friends, never ever we have felt the need of meditation so much so as today. We are living in turbulent times and these turbulences are going to increase, but we have to maintain our inner stability and inner calm. And meditation is the way and probably the only way to generate or inculcate that inner calm. So let us sit back for a moment of silence. See yourself as a peaceful, powerful, pure, happy and divine soul. God's energy of peace and love is continuously showering your soul, empowering your soul, and you are energized. Let go of all the negativity, all the waste thoughts. The feeling of anger is melting away. The feeling of pain, the feeling of hatred, competition, jealousy is fading away from my soul. I accept my own self as a peaceful being. I accept everyone as they are, understanding that this is their role that they are playing. I am peaceful. I radiate peace to one and all, to every soul in this universe. God's power of peace is creating a powerful aura around me. Let me stay back in this state. and practice this as and when I get time. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Dr. Mohit. It was indeed a pleasure listening to you on the topic of unraveling the science of mind, meditation and belief. Our next speaker for this morning is Dr. Abdeh Sharma. Dr. Abdeh is a gold medalist from NIMHANS, Bangalore, and has been practicing psychiatry for more than 25 years in New Delhi. He is the President-elect of the Indian Association of Private Psychiatry. He is the Vice President of the Medical Renaissance Group worldwide. He is also the founder member and member of advisory board of a number of societies and associations. He has addressed over 200 national and international conferences on spirituality and mental health in India and abroad. He has more than 500 articles to his credit in popular press and magazines, including like the Time Magazine, The Week, India Today, Outlook, and many more. He is also the editor of the book Spirituality and Mental Health, Reflections of Past, Application in the Present, and Projections for the Future, which were released in 2009. He is the recipient of the Dr. Ramachandra Murthy Award, Sadhana Kala Award, Scroll of Honor Medical Excellence Award, Gem of India Award, and Rashtriya Gaurav Award. We are happy to have such a distinguished personality with us. Now, we will listen to him on the topic, Healing Minds.
Human mind, the most complex of all the things in the world. Actually, human mind is the fulcrum on which the entire universe for us hangs. We take in energies from the universe around, the physical surroundings, all different kinds of energies based on our requirements, our needs, our intentions. It's estimated that we take in less than 1 billion of all the energies that are there in the world through our 5 senses and also in many other ways that we interact with the world around us. The world of human beings, the world of different kinds of organisms, the world of nature. And depending on how we interpret it, how we mold it, and how we give it a shape, decides for us and collectively through all of us as to how the world would be now and in the future. Human brain also is actually a part of the human body. The continuum of body, mind, and soul is a complete package where about 100 trillion cells of the human body interact with about 100 billion cells of the human brain, and each human brain having about 10 to 15,000 connections, and each of these cells are in constant touch with each other through various kinds of electrical, electromagnetic, chemical, and lymphatic impulses. And there are millions and millions of reactions that are taking place at all points of time. But the primary thing, which we forget most of the times because we can't see it through the 5 senses, is the consciousness, the energy, the being, which is what directs and actually constructs and then heals everything in the body and is able to self-correct itself in the mind through the powers of the soul. It's been found that while the process of health, which is by WHO's definition, is actually an absence of disease or dis-ease in all aspects of physical, mental, emotional, social and spiritual aspects, and is a sense of positive well-being, but actually it is beyond that. It is also the constant process of healing ourselves in all aspects, ourselves within, our relationships with people around, our relationship with the environment, and our ability to reach that constant process of stability, which is called homeostasis. Now, homeostasis is actually all positive forces that come together. If you look at the way human body heals itself, it works on the principles of love, of harmony, of peace, of being able to share with others, of being able to give, of being able to collectively work for a purpose. It doesn't believe in greed, it doesn't believe in jealousy, it doesn't believe in mindless competition. The process of healing is the process of giving, sharing, and reaching our highest potential. And this is not only within ourselves, but also us around ourselves. So there are many principles which come into the process when we are healing constantly, healing subconsciously, healing subtly, when we are faced with a threat from outside like germs, which we are surrounded by all times, or by different kinds of stresses that also now in modern living we are surrounded by, or whenever we give in to impulses, whenever we give in to negative thoughts or emotions or actions or interactions with others. Healing is the process of being able to recognize them, of being able to, at a very subtle, subconscious level, correct them and keep reaching that state of holistic health, which is body, mind, and soul being in constant touch with each other and also being able to create the best possible that it can, so that it doesn't have to go through any kind of trauma. Disease, which incidentally the entire medicine is focused on at this point of time, is a byproduct of not being able to heal ourselves. And in case there are any reasons, whether it's genetic, or it is what we eat, or it is pollution, or it is mindless fights and competitions and violence of different kinds between individuals or societies or nations, human mind has the potential of being able to heal it all. And it starts with those who are called hero minds. Hero minds is the concept which is about who are the people who are able to influence most in a positive way. Hero minds are a part of what could be called as the world drama, where each one of us has a part. And if we recognize that part and are able to deal with the situations that arise while we are in that part, and to deal with it in a very positive way, not only are we able to reduce the stresses for ourselves, but we also become role models by which others can become healed. And we as health professionals, we as doctors, nurses, paramedical staff, or anybody who is in a position to influence is always healing. Either healing ourselves, which automatically happens, or we take up the responsibility of healing others around. So some of us have been, by the society and ourselves, taken up the onus of being in the healing professions. Now, to be in the healing profession, of course, requires us to acquire certain knowledge of the physiological processes and also the pathological processes, to know where health can be enhanced and to know where disease can be reduced, but actually it should be beyond that. Hippocrates said that to be able to discharge a function as a physician or a healer is cure seldom, heal often, console always. So psychologically, each one of us has the onus, the possibility, and the responsibility of healing all around us. Now, there are many simple processes which have been evolving over a period of time, and now as it is being applied to the healing profession by the teachings of Raj Yoga meditative lifestyle as taught by the Brahma Kumaris, there are some very simple principles which we can learn, apply in our own life, and then share with each and every one, sometimes by example and sometimes by a teaching, to be able to help them also evolve towards perfect health. When we are inside us having different kinds of thoughts, emotions, it works as one team, and that team is called I-teams. I is the intention, T is the thought, E is the emotion, A is the action, and when this process of us having an intention, it leading to a particular thought, and if it creates positive emotion within us, then we go and do that action, and once that action has been completed, then it creates a memory. And once we have patterns of memory which evolve more and more, then it becomes what is called as a sanskar, or a pattern of behavior, or a personality pattern. And personality patterns over a period of time create our destiny. That's why it's important to start with the right intentions. Being able to give at all points of time. Being able to have the right intentions, the right thoughts, the right wishes for those around us. Not only the people who are in our family, but those we don't know, and sometimes those whom we may not like for whatever reasons. If we are able to have that, then we would be creating within ourselves, to begin with, a point where there is no dissonance. No dissonance between thoughts, emotions, or actions. When there is dissonance, that causes discomfort. Distress gets caused by the discomfort, and distress leading to stress, and then stress leading to distress, and the distress then subsequently becoming dis-ease, and disease going for a long period of time becomes a disorder. Now, if we want to avoid that, then right in the beginning, if we can ensure that there is no dissonance between our thoughts, emotions, actions, and memories, then we would always be at ease and at peace. Incidentally, all the human functions work best when we are at peace with ourselves. The heart, the pulse, the blood pressure, the respiratory rate, all the hormones being secreted, everything happens best when we are in a state of relaxation. So constantly trying to be in that state of relaxation is the highest goal of healing. To do that, we have to first become aware of our thoughts and our emotional patterns. So anything that starts causes a little bit of disturbance within is something that we need to recognize and then let go of. Letting go is a very, very simple process if we understand it, that when we are at peace, our own thoughts kind of get magnified. And in that, we are able to see the direction and the speed of our thoughts. And if they are causing any kind of disturbance within, then one has to let go. Like any of the food that we eat, if there is too much chili, we say, okay, I'm not going to consume it anymore. Or if it has started, if you have eaten without realizing or despite realizing, then it starts causing some amount of disturbance within our system, then we start saying, okay, not in future, and we try to avoid that permanently. So similarly, any thoughts which we feel uncomfortable with, or which causes us to feel low, or it causes us to have negative thoughts or feelings towards other people or ourselves, then that is something that we have to learn to let go. Similarly with our emotions. If there is something which is happening and we are uncomfortable about it, then learning to let go of that emotion or the thought or a situation or the people who may be causing that situation, that's important. Or for that, Many a times we may have thoughts which are constantly going on. Sometimes we're not being even aware of those thoughts being there. And for that we have to learn to put a full stop. A full stop means that we say, till now whatever has happened has happened. It's a part of history of my thinking. It's a part of something that sometimes could be called as a world drama. It has happened now. It is no longer required. So I learned to put a full stop. And incidentally, even in sentences, unless you have a full stop, you cannot start a new sentence. Similarly, if we do not put a full stop to whatever is happening in our life or our thoughts which are dragging us down, we cannot move forward. So learning to put a full stop to our thoughts, to our emotions, to our negative interactions is a very important way of being able to not only conserve our energy, but to create new patterns in the mind. And those new patterns, then despite our being in similar situations, will help us to create different kinds of thoughts or emotions, or help us take on a different journey, which would be very, very different than what it has been in the past. Incidentally, if we try out just an experiment of taking away the full stops and then the commas and then the spaces between all sentences, then you get something which is gibberish, garbled. You cannot make sense out of it. Similarly, if our thoughts are moving too fast without any direction, jumping from one to another, then it doesn't allow us to move forward in life. And that's why it's important to put spaces between our thoughts. And putting spaces also means that each and every thought will have much more power. Power that I can use at the level of my mind and also at the level of my body. Because my body is also producing energy, consuming energy, and if I'm consuming too much energy because of my racing thoughts, then that energy is wasted. It's not utilized for the purposes of healing. And for that, being in the present, here and now, becomes very important. If I'm too much in the past or too much in the future and I'm not able to focus on the here and now, then I would not be able to heal myself here and now. To be able to create the automatic response of healing through our mind, we have to be in the present, increase our energy, and then let that energy be utilized by our body-mind-soul continuum to be able to heal. And for that, becoming aware of everything around, being mindful, being able to experience by the five senses of what I'm eating, in what state I'm eating, what I'm saying to somebody, what I'm thinking, the things around me, the sounds around me, the smells around me. And if I'm doing that, then I am utilizing positive energy from all around me. And it's very, very important to, that's why not get too much caught in the things that are happening around. Many a times, whatever is happening across the world, sometimes the mindless information that we are now bombarded with, whether from the news channels or from television or internet or the social media or sometimes the gossip media, because of which we are taking too much information which is not of much use to me. But each information that I consume has a consequence on my thinking, on my emotions. And because of that, we have to be very careful about the diet that we are having in terms of information. Because unless information is churned, it doesn't become knowledge. And unless knowledge is utilized, it doesn't become wisdom. So that's why it's very, very important, at least at the level of the mind and our emotions and interactions that we are constantly in a process of being aware of what is being fed to the brain. And incidentally, in case in the past we have been feeding a lot of negative information, we can learn to zip that information, we can learn to delete that information, we can learn to rename that information. Because that's what is required many a times to be able to create new patterns in the brain which don't keep taking us back into what we were. And for that, having a daily regimen of healing ourselves at all levels, right food, right sleep, right way of relaxations, right way of consuming food, right moods at all points of time, starting the day with something that gives you positivity for yourself, for your interactions, having gratitude for everything that we have received, to be able to help others, being altruistic, to be able to have positive affirmations about oneself, about the day, about the world, and having visualizations of healing ourselves, healing others through us, to be able to take on responsibility for healing others around us in whatever way possible, and going beyond the physical to the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of our interactions and our place in the world. When that happens, then we truly will become the healing minds. The requirement for this time, the requirement of the world, the requirement of the universe, and that can really happen when we are in that meditative lifestyle where we become the healers for the self and take on healing for the world through our healing minds.
Thank you so much, Dr. Avdesh, for those amazing insights on the topic of healing minds. It was indeed a pleasure having you with us. I believe when we look at life, all of us look at the celebratory aspects. And I believe some of us look forward to celebrations, to birthday parties, to festivals, and small occasions that bring a celebratory flavor to life. What if we could celebrate our entire life? That is our next topic, celebrating life. And to speak on this, we have Professor Swaminathan, who is an engineer by profession. He holds bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Calicut University. He also holds MSc in Psychoneurobics from Tamil Nadu University, holds a diploma in Delta Healing from Tamil Nadu University, a postgraduate diploma in healthcare and in counseling from Annamalai University. He has addressed more than 100 national conferences of engineers, doctors, media, transport workers, youth, and many more. He has been associated with the Brahma Kumaris for the past 22 years. He is the recipient of the Sunrise Peace Award, Rotary Club Award of Excellence, Nation Builder Award. He has also appeared on many television channels that were aired on Zee Jagran, Sanskar, Peace of Mind TV, Awakening Channel, etc. He has a unique distinction of conducting training program at the highest battlefield in the world, at the Siachen Battle School, at the India-Pakistan-China border. He has delivered lectures in many corporates, industries, colleges, universities, military and paramilitary forces, police forces, and a variety of topics like memory management, emotional engineering, diluting stress, purpose of life, and many more. Indeed, it is a pleasure that we have him with us, and today he will illuminate us on the topic celebrating life. Professor Swaminathan.
Om Shanti. Once a doctor was taking rounds in his hospital and he was moving from patient to patient, and then the doctor reached a bed wherein a new patient was admitted. The doctor looked at the reports and the doctor realized that this particular patient is in the last stage of cancer and maybe he has got only a few days to survive. With lots of empathy and sympathy, the doctor looked at the patient, and the doctor was pleasantly surprised to see the patient's cherubic face and a very wonderful, beautiful smile. The doctor was most stunned when the patient greeted him with a good morning and asked the doctor, "How are you?" The doctor was really stunned. The doctor replied, "I am okay, but do you know what is your state of condition?" So the patient with the same smile told, "Doctor, I know that I am in the last stage of cancer and I have got only a few days to survive." Then the doctor said, "In that particular case, how can you be so smiling, cheerful and joyful?" So the patient replied to the doctor, "I've always lived my life to its fullest and I've always celebrated life. Now I am preparing that wonderful event of death and I want to make it as a celebration." The doctor was really shocked. Can we make death a celebration? Never in his 30 to 40 years of medical career he had heard ever such a kind of a statement. So the patient told, "Doctor, I keep on telling myself and reminding myself that I am a peaceful being. And whenever my relatives and my friends, they come to meet me, I remind myself that I'm a loveful being and I radiate that love because I've got only a few days to survive. And doctor, when there is peace and love, automatically I'm very, very happy." The doctor asked the patient, "But one of the greatest fear is the fear of death, right? People fear death and you are thinking about celebrating death with full of happiness. How it's possible?" And then the patient with the same amount of smile said, "Doctor, it is this physical body that dies, but I, the being, is always eternal, always indivisible and always indestructible. When I remember this and when I remind myself this, I am always happy." That particular moment the doctor realized that for the first time in his medical career, he has also been given simple, beautiful doses of happiness and joy. And then the doctor started thinking about these wonderful secrets of life that this patient shared to him that particular day. The doctor kept on thinking about these wonderful jewels of wisdom that the patient shared him. It was not something new to the doctor, but what really impressed him is in such a kind of an extreme level also, the patient was able to experience that peace and happiness. How is that possible? And the doctor was very, very curious to meet him in the next day. The next day, as he was taking the rounds, the doctor kept on thinking about some questions that he would pose on to this patient, and the patient, because he has got very few days to survive, would able to enlighten the doctor. And one of the questions that came to his mind was, usually people suffering from the last stage of cancer, they experience a terrific amount of pain. And here is this patient, irrespective of so much of pain, is able to share his happiness. What could be the secret? And as the doctor reached his bed, he was again greeted by that wonderful smile, and this time apart from good morning, there was also this wonderful, beautiful gesture of namaste. And the doctor asked him, "How are you today?" And the patient said, "I am fine, doctor, but what about you?" And the doctor said, "I am also becoming better and better," right? And then the doctor asked the patient, "My dear friend, don't you experience that particular pain in your body? And in case if you experience pain, what do you do to relieve that pain and how can you be so happy, cheerful and joyful?" Then the patient said, "Doctor, in case if there is some patient who is in pain, you administer an anesthesia, you administer an injection, or you give some medicines, isn't it?" The doctor said, "That's true, but still after some time the pain again comes back. But I can see you, you're always happy, cheerful and joyful." And then the patient said, "Doctor, when you administer the medicine for some time, that particular portion of the body gets disconnected and detached. Although the pain is there, but still my brain is not able to feel the senses, isn't it?" The doctor said, "That's true." And then the patient said, "Doctor, similarly, I do a lot of meditation. And in this meditation, I have learned and experienced and I have practiced detaching myself from this physical body. And when I do that, I'm able to face that pain with the same amount of stability, with the same amount of peace and happiness." And the doctor said, "Is this possible?" And then the patient said, "It is very much possible, doctor. It can come out of practice." And then the patient said, only keep on reminding oneself that I am different from this body, a point of light, a point of energy. And when I remind myself this, slowly it's very much easily possible to detach myself, to disconnect myself. The doctor kept on thinking. What the patient said was very much true. Till now we were dealing with the physical body, but that is an energy. An energy, as long as it is in the body, it runs the body, but the moment the energy moves away, the body is actually dead. We need to shift our consciousness from body consciousness to energy consciousness. And if this technology can be propagated, can be shared with all the patients, actually they can also celebrate this wonderful event of death with lots of equanimity, with lots of peace and with lots of tranquility. The doctor smiled and thanked the patient and then kept on thinking that I, the being, although playing the role of a doctor, basically I am a very wonderful point of light, a sparkling star, an energy. The next day, the doctor was looking forward to meet his wonderful enlightened friend. He was no longer a patient, but the patient turned out to teach the doctor a new lesson, a new way of life. And as the doctor approached the bed, he saw his new enlightened friend in deep sleep, as if he is seeing some wonderful sweet dreams. The doctor kept on staring at him. There was so much of peace, so much of tranquility, and so much of stillness in his face. Although his physical body was in lot of discomfort and lot of problems and diseases, but still he was at peace. And the doctor kept on looking at him, and the vibrations of peace and love touched him. And with a smile, the doctor looked at the reports, gave the necessary instruction to the nurse, and then he slowly walked away. While the doctor was returning back, he just gave a glance to his new enlightened friend and found that his eyes were open. So the doctor walked up to him and said, "Hello, my dear friend, so happy to meet you. By the way, can I ask you one question?" So the patient asked, "Tell me, doctor, what do you want to ask?" He said, "Usually in my experience of my medical career, I have seen that all the patients who are in this particular stage, they have a lot of problems in getting sleep. We need to inject them with so much of medicine so that at least for some time they may experience peace and sound sleep. But even then, they have a very disturbed sleep. Today I saw you. You were so peaceful while you were sleeping. What kind of dreams you were seeing?" And then the patient said, "Doctor, basically I was preparing myself for my new home. And actually, when you dream of a new home, you actually not fear, but you are actually very, very happy." Then the doctor was taken aback and he said, "Which is your new home?" And then the patient said, "Doctor, I am going to leave this particular body. And there is some particular body that has been prepared for me. I am ready to enter in a mother's womb. I do not know where, but that's the new home for me. And when you go to a new home, you're actually very happy. And you keep on dreaming about the new home which you are constructing. So my dear doctor, I'm actually preparing myself to go to the new home. And before I go to the new home, I will touch the Almighty God who is waiting for me. And that is what gives me a sound sleep. And that is what gave me such beautiful dreams." Right? The doctor was so happy listening to it. And then he said, "Here is a friend who is teaching me those wonderful, beautiful secrets of life." The doctor, with lots of smile, thanked this particular friend, and then the doctor walked away. After a couple of days, the doctor got the news that his new enlightened friend has passed away. The doctor kept on thinking about these jewels of wisdom which the friend shared, that I, the being, is eternal, indivisible. We are actually very peaceful and loveful, and thereby make this event of life and death a celebration. And then the doctor kept on thinking about his new sweet home and the Almighty God which is going to meet. With all these positive vibrations, the doctor kept on blessing that departed soul with lots of peace, lots of love and lots of happiness. This is what the doctor was able to experience. My dear friends, this particular experience which I have shared is the experience of many people who are meditators, right? In my journey of 25 years of experience, I have come across many people who practice meditation. Their life is a celebration. At the same time, the last event of death also they make a celebration. Life and death are the events which anyone has to face. Why can't we make it a celebration? So think about it, and maybe we need to understand, introspect and discover these wonderful jewels of wisdom, of knowledge, and then apply it in our own life. I wish all of you, my dear friends who are listening to this program, to prepare oneself to this wonderful event which can come to us any second of a life. With lots of good wishes and positive vibrations. Thank you. Om Shanti and Namaskaram.
Thank you so much, Professor Swaminathan, for being with us this morning. It was indeed a pleasure having you here. Friends, that's all for this session of the Mind Body Medicine e-conference. I'm sure that we have had wonderful insights into different aspects of life, whether it was healing our minds or celebrating life. We'll bring in more interesting topics for you. In the next session, I will come with a special lineup of speakers. Till then, you take care.
Medical wing of Brahma Kumaris presents a 2-day Mind Body Medicine e-conference for all healthcare professionals.
एकाग्रता के आधार पर ही जो वस्तु जैसी है वैसी स्पष्ट देखने में आएगी। ऐसी एकाग्र स्थिति में स्थित होने वाला